Hey everyone! So today I'm taking you guys on a quick adventure to visit one of my favorite places in the entire world, a small local bookstore that specializes in selling predominantly secondhand books. However, oftentimes they do also take overstock from large publishers. So oftentimes you will find books that, even though they're labeled as secondhand, are brand new. This is Grassroot Books in Reno, Nevada, and I'm so excited to bring you there. Let's go!
If you're interested in visiting Grassroots Books in Reno, Nevada, it's located at 660 East Grove Street, Reno, Nevada, zip code 89502. You can also visit them at any time on their social media or at their website, grassrootsbooks.com. Okay, so the outside sale is marked for 99-cent books, but the kids' books are actually marked to 25 cents. Now, you are going to see a ton of different titles and different labels, and some of these books are definitely well-loved, and some of them are brand new, probably have never been touched before, so it's definitely a wide variety. Now, I will tell you, I first got connected with this incredible store while creating an Advent book calendar. Instead of just having a chocolate to open every day or reading a Bible verse, we chose to instead get books for everyday shoes at our house during the Advent season before Christmas that were either winter themed, winter holiday themed, Christmas themed. You get the vibe. So through that Advent book calendar, we've been able to really explore a lot of different cultures and their customs, different stories, and lots of new ideas. We've gotten baking ideas and craft ideas. It's really been quite the blessing, and it's a tradition she loves so much. She wrote about it in her Christmas packet last year at school. Now you'll see that you have books from different types of literature, different types of science, health standpoints, different cultures, etc. And you have really high-end books like this one from Hallmark. I was absolutely stunned to see this one and the rest of its series all in brand new condition for just 25 cents. These books would also be great to look through and find new ones that you might be able to donate to local children's charities or your local library or your local elementary school, as the 25-cent table for books are really designed for your very young children, like elementary age style books. Now, this one, I found this one from Dolly Parton's own publishing company, and this one is absolutely stunning. The artwork is beautiful, and we don't see a lot of books from companies like hers just because of where we live geographically, and these are not things that a lot of people would know to look for online, so what a blessing to be able to see things that are so different. Now, this is the inside of the store, and as you can see, most of this merchandise is brand new, but at prices you could not get anywhere else. I love how much STEM content they have, so this would be a great resource for homeschooling parents. And as you can see there, the Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, $3.99. You could not order it on Amazon that cheap. The Journal for How to Raise a Reader, Blue Planet, Timeline Science, a children's dictionary for $12.99, Discover Physics, Biology, and Chemistry. Again, great resources for homeschooling families, and all these wonderful holiday books. Now, you even see here the entire J.K. Rowling series for Harry Potter and all of the Harry Potter universe type books, Star Wars universe, this incredible series, the terrifyingly awesome, wildly spectacular type science books, again, at prices you could not get anywhere else.
Okay, so now that you guys have seen it, let's go through some of the finds that I picked up today, starting with the 25-cent table finds. Now, these aren't all just for the beginning of school. As I mentioned in my little bit of an explanation, I did talk about the fact that we do a book advent calendar, and that's why I pulled out some of the Christmas books. I didn't buy most of those. I only bought a few, and we'll get into that as well. But I would love to talk about the ones that she will be getting early in the school year. And first off, from the 25-cent group, I picked, where do I start? This one, it's an I Can Read in a Dark, Dark Room and Other Scary Stories. Now, this is one where she could easily read this by herself. She will not need help. But this style of book is great because even though there's not a lot of words and there's not a lot of sentences per page, it is a 60-plus page book designed to be read in one sitting. But the other thing is that the expanded vocabulary in this book is excellent. Now, this is a Halloween book, so this will likely be in her Halloween bucket. I like to do a holiday or a seasonal bucket at the beginning of a season or of a holiday to kind of get us jazzed about what's going on. So I'll be getting her a few new Halloween books this year. And I like this one because instead of just using the word graveyard, it uses the word cemetery. Instead of just using the word ghost, it uses the word ghoul. Instead of just using the word skeleton, it would use corpse. Again, words that you kind of have to have a discussion about, but at the same time really expands their vocabulary, which is great for creative writing and great for building those speaking point skills where we're not just referring to the same simple language all the time. So love this one, especially for 25 cents. And as you can see from the side and the pages, if this was used, this was very seldomly used. Even in the beginning where a name goes, this is blank. There's no marks from fingers on the sides of pages, and the artwork is really cute. So this is a big win. Next up, this one is called The Long Way to a New Land. This one I will probably... Sorry, there's a dog moving the camera. This one will likely be with her Thanksgiving reading materials and her like Thanksgiving season basket. Again, it's the same style of book. This one I believe has even more pages though. Yeah, this is a 70-page reader. I love how this uses, again, the expanded language. So even though there are, a decent amount of words and sentences, those metrics might be slightly below her reading level. The vocabulary in this is excellent. The fact that words like emigrant, not just immigrant, are being used, which talks about using different prefixes and what those might mean, or words that sound similar but mean completely different things, or are related but are still different. The fact that it discusses people coming from different countries and the issues they faced at the time, and the fact that the Thanksgiving story did not just end when Pilgrims got off the Mayflower. People have been coming to this country for different reasons for a long, long time and have had to learn how to live and work in the communities that were already established there. So the back of this book says, "We will go to America." It is 1868, and Carl Eric's family faces starvation in Sweden. As their hopes fade, they must endure a journey over land and sea to reach a better life in a new country thousands of miles away. Now, I also love the fact that this is talking about Scandinavian immigrants because she has Scandinavian heritage in her dad's family. But my family also are partially Scandinavian. We're Norwegian. And so anything that talks about some of the lesser known groups who came to this country, I love, because everyone only ever seems to talk about people who came from the British Isles. And a lot of other people have made it here. So we should probably talk about everybody, including the people who are already here, which we'll get to in just a second. So the next group of, I guess, holiday themed books is Horrible Harry and the Holidays by Susie Klein. Also that book, I'm pretty sure no one's ever used it. So sorry, just going back. Now this one, I remember reading about Horrible Harry. This is a more traditional chapter book. But why I loved this one and thought it would be perfect is it talks about all the different holidays that happen during the December-January seasons. So Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Three Kings Day, St. Nicholas Day, Santa Lucia Day, all of these holidays that occur. I don't even think I've touched on all of them. Korean New Year. Yeah, lots of things happening in the months of December and January. And I thought that this would be a great read. And this is a chapter read, which is excellent. This is her reading level. Most of these so far have been below her. Well, all of them so far have been slightly below her reading level. This one is completely on target. So I love this one. Again, for 25 cents. We have only spent 75 cents at this point, and we have gotten 3 excellent holiday finds. The next one, this is called The Snow Walker. Now, of all the books I bought, I'm pretty sure this is the most clearly used book because it has a library sticker on it. But other than the protective binding tape on the edge, this one, this one came from Stanwood, Washington, from Church Creek Elementary. So somebody never turned in their library book, but I guess good for us because we got it for 25 cents. And The Snow Walker is the same style. It's a modified chapter book, so it only has like 3 chapters. It's about a 50-page book. Now there is a lot more words and sentences per page, so this is getting closer to her actual reading level, but again, it's very manageable. I like the expanded vocabulary. and I like how it discusses living in a place very different to where we live. So again, kind of expands our worldview a little bit. And it talks about different things that come with living in really harsh climates. So this one I'm sure will be great fun. And this one could be a good book leading to Christmas. This could also be a great book for the winter season in January. So I love that one. Now the next one I know is below her reading level, but I love Jan Brett. I love the art that goes with all Jan Brett books, and I've been collecting them for some time now, and anytime I see one for 25 cents at a book sale like this, I absolutely purchase it every single time. This one is called Annie and the Wild Animals. I remember this book from when I was a kid. I love, pretty sure all my favorite kids books were Jan Brett books, but I think the art is just stunning inside. But I will say I love the, you know, the expression of different cultures, but I also love the fact that it uses a very expanded vocabulary, even when you're using only simple sentences or smaller sentences. And I think that these are absolutely beautiful pages and beautiful concepts. And again, discusses why we should not feed the wild animals. So love this book, and I'm very excited to add this to our Jan Brett collection. Now the next four that I bought, even though she will have access to these, I'm sure we will read them together. I actually bought these to add to my sub kit. So this is a little bit of sub teacher prep coming at you. Now last year when I had to substitute, I was working with high school science. This year we can't say yet because we're not into the school year, but I will likely be working with more than just high school science, likely dipping my toe into some younger grades. And that includes social studies as well, which is why I wanted to get some different reading materials. So first of all, we're gonna grab our science reader, or my science themed book that I got. And even though we do not live in the Rocky Mountains, this one is very relatable because we live in a very similar watershed. So this is called My Water Comes from the Rocky Mountains by Tiffany Ferment. And this book is stunning. I cannot believe that I snagged a $17 book for 25 cents. Now, again, you can tell from the opening pages, this book, if it has ever been used, was probably used by someone who knows how to take care of books because it is in immaculate condition. Now, this is obviously a very involved reader. If you're a homeschooler, books like this are a great selection or a great choice for you, and I love small bookstores like Grassroots. They're excellent for homeschool families, but they're also excellent resources for teachers. The graphics that go with it really explain the water cycle beautifully, and I love how they have in the margins artwork from kids. It also talks about some of the wildlife, and some of this wildlife we do have here in Nevada. So I think that this is a very relatable book and a really high quality purchase for 25 cents. So I love this one as well. The next two are both from National Geographic's Reading Expedition series. Now I love these, and I think I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Southwest, its history and its people. Now we technically do not live in the Southwest, however, because we are neighboring states that are in the Southwest, but also because the cultures here are very similar, I snagged this one because I figured it would be a good fit. And it starts out by talking about the location of the Southwest, the states that are included. It gives a timeline of the American experience, or the colonized experience, if we can say that, of the Southwest. But it opens talking about the big dominating tribes of the Southwest and their cultures, their homes, their social and governmental structures, you know, the types of things that they were involved in their world pre, essentially Texas, because Texas is kind of what started everything in the Southwest. If you know, you know. So the pre-Texas version of the Southwest, which includes, you know, after colonization by the Spaniards and the creation of Mexico and all that as well. That history heavily influenced the history of this area as the Nevada Territory was incorporated afterwards. And we used to be the Utah Territory, not that that matters, but these are all things that I've needed to read up on, and having some extra materials like this really are a blessing. Now, where I live currently is actually at the end of a a wagon train trail in the very last leg of the California Trail. So because of that, I also got the homesteading community of the 1880s. And I love how this starts out talking about the homesteading movement as it left Kentucky in the South post-Civil War. One of the common misconceptions when it comes to history of the West is that everybody who came here looked the same. I'll just give you a fun fact right now. 1 in 4 American cowboys up until the 1920s was African American. 1 in 4 was Hispanic American. And 1 in 4 was Indian or Native American, and then the last 1 in 4 were white or European American. So having books that explain what happened and how everybody got here are extremely important. I love the perspective of this book coming from a specific person for the most part. The images are absolutely stunning photographs. I think that this book is just quite a treasure to have, talking about how the farming practices that we practice in the United States, a lot of them were even derived from Egypt and other river cultures who practiced flood irrigating and perfected these strategies in places that struggle with drought. So again, something that kind of goes back and forth between social studies and science. And to get this book for 25 cents is this is a great resource. National Geographic did an incredible job with this. I'm really excited to dig into this one even more. So those are those 3. That's the last of my 25-cent finds. So in total, I spent at the 25-cent table a whopping $2. Now, that's the exact budget I spent on a book that we actually sell at Circle S. Or we did sell, we're currently sold out, but with the school year coming, I knew I wanted to get another one of these, and that is S is for Silver. This is the Nevada alphabet. Now, a lot of people are going, why in the heck, when you have a 4th grader and you sub upper grades, would you need an alphabet book? Thing is this is not an alphabet book. It is, but it isn't. As you can see, even though there's maybe a simple line of text, the margins are full of really detailed information. The art in this series of books for all the states is absolutely stunning. And the information really goes deep into Nevada's social studies and Nevada's history curriculum. And for that, in the event that I were to ever sub a class that fits that, especially in middle school or upper grades elementary, having a resource like this is absolutely pivotal. And I think that this is just a stunning book. I think at some point I would like to collect these for all 50 states. That is quite the investment. But I love this book series. This is by Eleanor Coer. Are we sure I should be? Okay. Eleanor Coer and illustrated by Darcy Park. And as you can see on the back, they have a bunch of other examples. This is made by Sleeping Bear Press. They have done an absolutely beautiful job with these books, and to get a hardcover book for $2 that is in brand new condition is an absolute win. So I hope you guys enjoyed visiting Grassroots with me today. I'm so excited to share these finds with you, and I'm so excited to show you what other fun things I will be bringing to you from Grassroots later this season. And as we progress into the Christmas season, I hope that this is giving you lots of ideas entering this new school year, and I will see you in our next Back to School series video. Thanks for coming.
Interested in more content like this? We are just starting our Back to School Week series, so go ahead and subscribe and stick around for more.